Hi there, Carrie here. So I've had a couple of you guys who have mentioned procrastination and stalling out and losing your momentum. And so I want to address that from a couple of different angles because it's not the same thing for everybody. The baseline for procrastination is that there's a fear of succeeding. And if you don't ever start, you don't have to worry about failing. So there's that one. Then for those of us, that's me, who suffer from distraction syndrome or ADHD. I call it what you want, it doesn't matter. It's just that your brain is wired in a way that it's constantly on the alert for it's hyper vigilant to keep you safe. It may have come from some time earlier in your life, but basically what that does is it distracts you from your initial goal. And so being in the act of accomplishing something, you'll get distracted by something that looks equally important in the moment, and then something else, and then something else, and then something else. And it kind of branches out like a tree, and you don't get anything completed. You may get a lot of progress done on all kinds of branches as you go along, but you're not going to actually complete the goal that you had set for yourself. And also what happens with those of us with distractibility is that we'll look at a project as if it's 100%. And then we'll just go gangbusters at the beginning. And for some of us who are tenacious, that beginning can go clear through to 60, 70, 80, 90%. And then we kind of drop off. It's like we've used all the fuel in our engine and there is no more. So why does that happen? There are a lot of reasons for that. I don't want to go into them all at this moment, but there is a way to forestall that from happening or to fix it if it has happened for you. And I know it happened for me a billion times because otherwise I wouldn't have quit school and been distracted by thinking I needed to make money, which was stupid when I think about it in reverse, because I made so much more money once I got out of school that there was no way I could work part-time and make enough money to justify not being in school with my full attention. But what I do when I am consciously aware of it, and sometimes we're not, is when I get to that 60, 70, 80, 90% of my project and I'm losing steam. First of all, give yourself a break because it probably means you've really overdone it for a while. And a break could be, 10 minutes. It could be going for a walk. It could be taking 2 weeks off. It could be whatever feels right for you without guilt. And emphasis on without guilt. Because if you're feeling guilty while you're trying to rest, you're not resting. You're putting your energy into feeling guilty. Take a rest. Stop for a moment. Regroup. See where you started. See what your goal was. See where you are honestly. And then reset everything. Because you're not still going from 0 to 100. You're now only going from 90, from 60, 70, 80, 90 to 100. You only have that much left. Let's make that the new 100%. Jump on it. Take enough of a break that when you come back, you're going to hit it just like you hit the 100 in the beginning. Hit it hard. Hit it with everything you've got. And tell yourself, this could, if I do this right, this could, if I give it my all, if I give it my best, this may be the last time I have to restart and bump, but maybe it's not. So in that last 100%, you get to 60, 70, 80% of that. Only got that much more left to go. Do the same thing. Stop, rest, reset, regroup, start again. This is your new 100%. Give it everything you got every single time. And when I look back on my journey, I realized that that's the thing that I didn't do until accidentally when I was in 200s, I did. I just kind of started from ground zero and said, this is where I am, and this is where I am now, and that's where I'm going still. And I want to get past that. And start thinking in terms of, there's your original goal, but what is it that it's so hard to explain to people sometimes. What is it that you actually want? Because for a lot of us, it's like, oh, I want a piece of paper. I want that certificate. No, you don't. I mean, no, you don't really. I mean, if all you got was the piece of paper and the certificate, well, I don't know, for maybe 1% of people, that'd be good enough. I'm like, I'll go on to something else. I'm going to Paris to art school. I'm gonna, cruise the world. I'm gonna do something else because I have my piece of paper now. But for the rest of us, you want the piece of paper because of what it opens the doors to. You want the piece of paper because it's your license, it's your permission to go to the next step, to become a working reporter in whatever way that means for you. It's your ticket out of school. It's your ticket that tells you you're done with all the hell that was school and learning and building your skills. And now you're free to go take the next step into the working world. And for some people, that's scary, except you got to do it on your own terms. Nobody says you got to go out and start working full time in your first week. Nobody says, I mean, maybe they do, but you don't have to buy it. You get to start from where you are, from what's comfortable for you. And I encourage you to always push yourself a little bit farther than what feels comfortable, because that's where growth is. You're never going to grow if you just keep doing the same thing over and over again. Which is why in speed building, we need to push to a higher speed, even though it's going to be crappy and we're not going to want to look at it and it's going to feel bad. But that's what makes the growth. Because if you keep being totally, I'm going all off on a bunch of tangents. If you keep totally just practicing at, say, pick a number, 200 words a minute accurately, you're going to get really, really good at 200 words a minute accurately, which is wonderful. If nobody, didn't speak faster, if some of the tests weren't faster, and life is faster. So I encourage you to have a big cushion of speed so that when you are out in the field and writing at 200, 225, that it feels good. It feels attainable. It feels okay. Because at those speeds in the field, you should never feel like you're hanging on for dear life. But you will when you're hitting 240, 260, 280, and you don't have any cushion of speed to fall back on. That's when that feeling, excuse me, that feeling of I'm not good enough, I'm not fast enough, and imposter syndrome will start creeping in. But it's not really imposter this time. It's because you don't have the skills fast enough to let you drop back. And I promise you, the people who are passing the tests are not writing. If the test is at 200, they're not writing at 200. They are pushing themselves often and writing at 230, 40, 50, 60 words a minute. And when they drop back down to take the test at 200, it feels doable. And the farther you get away up the scale from your goal, testing goal speed, the more attainable it is. So think of that also in terms of giving it that 100%. Just chunk it out. This is the next chunk in front of me, and give, make that your 100%. And if you only get to 60, 70, 80, 90% of that, well, first of all, you're doing way more than most people ever will, because most people are kind of lazy and court reporters are not by nature. But then chunk the last little part out and just get it done. So I hope that has helped some of you who are having stalling, procrastination, lack of motivation. Some of that also could be lack of belief in yourself, lack of what's possible for you. We have a tendency to beat up on ourselves. I did. I was constantly telling myself, who do you think you are? You know, you got out of high school with wonderful grades because you killed yourself to overcompensate for not being able to read, for having a terrible vocabulary, for not being able to read a paragraph and comprehend what was in it. It was, I didn't understand, I just thought I was stupid. I didn't understand that my brain literally looked at words and things differently than other people. And it was not until I was in court reporting school. Thank you for not letting my fear of being stupid keep me from starting court reporting school, because all of a sudden, looking at the vertical printout of your notes, you know, in my case, it was a piece of paper. It was the, you know, the tape coming out of the machine. And I could read vertically. I could read vertically brilliantly. And I could never read horizontally. And, you know, now I can do both, but it's that those are skills. Nobody ever told me that this is stuff you practice also. And that's why, part of why reading back your notes, it uses a different part of your brain, and it will actually help all parts. It'll help the writing part, the speaking part, the proofreading part, the reading vertically, reading horizontally, reading in advance, reading in, well, let's say reverse, but in those moments when you literally get an instant behind, not enough to drop, but you can literally dictate to yourself. Your brain will hold up to 7 to 9 chunks of information. You can literally dictate those chunks back to yourself, and you can write faster than you can think, and you're doing it for yourself to catch up. And if you can't catch up, then you drop, because after 7 to 9 chunks of information, your brain just clears out. And that's why when you drop and your brain says, oh, I'll remember that. No, you won't. No, you won't. So just let it go. In a test, let it go. Because working reporters will tell you in the real world, you can't let it go. And I know a lot, I know a lot of people who work on just relying on their audio. I learned the hard way, real fast, thank God, that the minute you decide to rely on your audio, something bad can happen. Your file can get corrupted. You can wind up with a scratchy, degraded audio, or in my case, it looked like it was recording, and it wasn't. And it was a medical malpractice case. And thank God, my notes are really good. And I understood the context, and I think I had dropped, you know, 2 words, and I in retrospect was able to put that together, but it was horrifying. And it taught me, I don't care what that little meter thing at the bottom says about that it's recording. I don't believe it. I will never believe it. I believe in me. I believe in me staying on top of and keeping the record and guarding the record. And I am the only voice that the record has. So out in the field, we interrupt. In a test, you drop and go. You drop and go. The object of the test is to get the hell out of whatever you're in at the moment, be it a speed or be it school in general. The object of the test is to be done with it in any way possible. And if your notes are clean and you can drop cleanly, you can still pass tests. And then you pick up skills that save your ass out in the field. And that's not dropping. So love you guys. I hope any of this has helped. If it hasn't, please let me know, because it doesn't hurt my feelings. It just means I need to approach it differently. If it has helped, please let me know, because that helps me also. And for those of you watching this on Facebook, it will be posted over in YouTube. And I'm gonna, for the first time, really encourage whoever is out there, because it doesn't cost anything, and you don't have to see my videos if you don't want to, but it's gonna help me build a base of, once I get to 1,000, you know, I've seen other reporters out there asking for those 1,000, you know, viewers, those 1,000 subscribers. I'm going to be honest with you. When I hit 1,000, I can start monetizing what I do, which means, you know, they'll put commercials in. I get to decide who does what, when, where, and how often, because I know I watch enough YouTube. I hate when I'm interrupted by commercials, by ads, but it'll help me to be able to monetize, which means I'm able to help more students without charging anything, because it's, when I'm working with a student, I'm still taking away from my full-time reporting job. And where I could make, $400 by showing up, I'm spending an hour of my time working with a student and in whatever form that looks like. So help me get to 1,000 or more subscribers on our YouTube channel, which is also Magic for Quote Reporters. I'd love that. I'd really appreciate it. And if you do want to know when I'm rolling out new videos, then just hit the little bell notification thing so that you'll get a message that I've got a new video out. And if you're not on Facebook all the time, that will really help. Anyway, I love you. I hope you have a great day. It's a beautiful new moon tonight. It's a time to let go of things that are not serving you and pushing you forward in your goals. And so take a few moments today to assess that and just decide, are the things I'm doing, the things I'm thinking, the things I'm allowing into my life, are those actually integral parts of pushing me forward to the goal I say I want? And if they're not, cut them loose, let them go, especially on a beautiful, it's an Aquarius, I think, full moon. It's a time to by letting go, you're able to then, on the next new moon, rebirth a whole process for what you want going forward. And it's a cycle of every 2 weeks, letting go, attaining that peak, and then dropping off, and then regrouping and rebirthing and going again. We live in an amazing world, and it's way more powerful than we imagine. And so are we. Love you guys. Thank you so much.